Hey, Helen! Helen! Hey! Look like that regress character that made another video! I don't know what he be doing, but there's something about those beats he be putting together. You know what I'm saying, Helen? Helen, I know you hear me over there. I'm talking to you. Helen, Regress got another video out. Yeah, a new one. I don't know, it ain't came on yet. It's just the introduction. Or the extroduction. I don't know which whatsoever it is. I just know he got another video out. And I kinda like his stuff. You know? Helen, get on in here. Pop some popcorn. No, we gonna be entertained, this thing. Come on, man, get on in here, woman. That's right. All right, now.
This is how we do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, and ladies and gents, I am in my automobile driving. Yes, I'm driving. I'm not traveling right now. I'm driving. And I just wanted to bring up some information to some people's attention. They're thinking that my methods work better than other people's methods. There is no such thing. It's not that I know more than they do, they know more than I do, I'm better at it than they are. We're gonna have my music playing in the background because I can't drive without music. All right, so let me let you all know what I'm doing so that everybody understands exactly how things are. And I'm not going to play the music in the background too loud, although Teddy Pendergrass is in the background, and that's my boy. So he gonna play, and then a little Bobby Valentine and a bunch of other people. 2,800 songs on one disc. Can't beat that. So let's get back to what's going on in this audio. The first things first. This is what we did on Friday of last week. We went down to a dealership. Now, I was told that you can get a car without spending a dime. So I said, you know what? That sounds pretty good in theory. Then I started thinking about how one would go about doing that in reality. Well, the reality is, people said you need to get them to make you an offer. I don't think that's the case. Now, I know that you can't go soliciting to acquire. But I am not going at this. I'm gonna need y'all to hold for a second. So, hold on one second. Sorry everybody, I just got a call and I've been playing phone tag. You're it! I'm sorry. Been playing phone tag, and so I just had to let that individual know that I wasn't trying to avoid them. Well, getting back to the auto, we decided we would go and put the theory to the test. Now, what do we mean by putting it to the test? Well, I did a dry run. I went to a dealership, and people kept saying you need them to make us an offer. So the first thing I did is I went and got myself in a situation to figure out how do I get them to give me an offer. Well, the first thing I did was haggled. Y'all know what haggling is, huh? Y'all not all Jewish, is you? That's a joke. Call me anti-Semitic. Your mama, I'm sorry. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what we did is the gentleman gave me, I told him what I wanted, 5-passenger automobile that gets at least 25 to 30 miles to the gallon. And I went to a Chevy dealership. The first words came out, oh, and it has to be a 6-cylinder, not a 4-cylinder. Well, I don't think we have anything in stock like that, really? You see, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm on my way over to Ford and see if they got anything. Whoa, look, sir, we have this one, and do you see? Now you get them to sit up there and they offer you the whole showroom floor. Okay, they just need to make that sale because they get commission. Do not feel sorry for the salesman. Because once you drive that vehicle, automobile, car, carriage off of the lot, they gonna treat you like you're a second-class citizen, I promise you. I don't care how nice they seem. Don't feel sorry for them, because they don't feel sorry for you. All they're interested in is the sale. That's why they're constantly trying to talk you up in price. Talk about that in a minute. All right, let's continue, shall we? Then the next thing, once we come to, well, at that location, we didn't come to an agreement. I told him that I'd be back in town in 2 weeks. Gave me his card. I gave him, and I wasn't afraid to give him my number. Don't be afraid to give him your name and number. But when they ask you for a driver's license, we haven't conducted a deal yet. There's no need for me to exchange any personal information with you right now. We're not getting that close, are we? And just joke with them, people. This is all fun. Have fun with what you're doing. The 2 people who went with me will tell you how much joking I did. Well, y'all knows how much joking I do. Well, anyway, that's the way I conduct business. You see, if the person standing in front of me gives me an attitude, then that means that he's going to get everything he deserves. Which brings us to Friday. On Friday, we went before a Ford dealer. And at that Ford dealer, gentleman came right up to us. Now, they didn't send the white fella. They didn't send the blue fella. They didn't send the green fella. No, they sent the, well, supposedly black fella. Okay? And when they sent that character, I knew exactly what they were doing. What were they doing? They were doing the same thing the police do. They were stereotype graphing me. They were sitting up there thinking that because that's Bobby Valentine. Oh, for some of you who don't understand when I tell you that I play my music as loud as I can. Sorry, that's a small sample. That's not even 25 on the volume dial. The situation is I like my music. So when the police are sitting next to me, they either gotta like my music or they gotta roll their windows up. And usually, you can see them in their car bobbing their head and smiling. Okay? Now, it's not that I'm playing games with them and making them look stupid. It's that they understand that I have no fear of them. I'm not gonna sit up there and do anything stupid. I'm not going to put their lives in jeopardy. I'm not going to even make them think that. I'm not going to cop an attitude and start quoting law to them if they pull me over. Pull me over. What do you need? You need a driver's license? No, here you go. There's some ID. What else you need? You need insurance. Oh, there you go. There's insurance. You need registration? No, you can run the plates and get that. Sorry, I don't do redundancies. Well, so you just sit right there. I'll be right back. Well, you go ahead and take your time. I'm going to sit up here and chew on this candy I got right here. Shoot, this is a good day. I got the windows down, wind blowing. That's how I am, people. Why? Because some of you are taking this stuff way too seriously. It isn't a game, but if you go at this thing hardcore, if you go at this thing like you're mad at the world, nothing's going to work out for you. If you treat these fiduciaries like douches, fiduciaries, then you're going to get exactly what you're asking. I am a firm believer. I have lived my life for the last 20 years off of the fact you reap what you sow. The 24 years prior to that, I reaped what I sowed, and I didn't recognize it until it was too late. So now that I reaped all the bad parts, still got something to go, I'm looking to reap the benefits. So let's get to what happened on Friday. I was helping a young lady with a court case, which has been all I'm concerned about right now, is getting her out of her situation. Everybody wants to offer to help. People, she's okay. She's being taken care of. I'm not filing quorum novices. I'm not filing habeas corpuses. This is not the time for all of that. So your advice is okay. Your advice is fine. But don't let it get back to me because I don't want to hear it. Sorry. Sorry. All right. Well, I'm gonna go to Bobby McKnight. Anyway. Oh, Brian McKnight. Sorry, Bobby McKnight. Bobby Knight McKnight. Not McKnight, but Bobby Knight. That was a good coach. I like Bobby Knight, and I don't care if he did put his hands around that fool's neck. That fool probably deserved it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, on Friday, I took that young lady, asked them if they wanted to go. Told them it'd be, what do you call that, a field trip, a learning experience. What I found out from them, if they had tried something similar, they didn't know how to complete it. So for those of you who have tried something similar, I'm going to tell you how I am figuring to complete it. Okay? We went to the dealership. They sent the gentleman over to us. I saw a car. We looked at the cars. I told him what I was interested in. What I've been interested in is a Ford Fusion. So I saw a Ford Fusion. I saw a color that it was maroon, burgundy. They called it something. I forgot what it's called on the paper, but it's a stupid name, believe it or not. But nonetheless, I like the color. And I said, I would look good in that. That car would complement me. That's how I look at automobiles. I hold on to automobiles because of how I look while riding in them. That's right, image is everything. Just kidding. All right, sorry, I forgot about the audience I have. Some of you guys take me too seriously. Really, though. I mean, we need to call in Groucho Marx so he can sit up here and tell you. People, life ain't that serious. So you all need to lighten up. Even those of you who are already lightened up, you need to lighten up some more. Just keep lightening up until you're lit up, okay? But light up, people. Lighten up so that when you go against the system and the system very soon comes after you, it doesn't affect you as much as you think it will. You cannot fight the system. I'm living proof of that. What you have to do is you have to play the same game the system plays, because they can't stop you. Their rules are, and they live by this rule, equal protection of law, which simply means, and it's called the Equal Protection of Law Clause, like Santa Claus, because if a person in jail has the right to do it, then I have the right to do it. You don't get to discriminate against me because I'm not in somebody's barred jail. Like I said, if they can do it, I can do it. Equal protection, protection means you have the same rights as everyone else. Remember, all men are created equal and endowed by their creator. All right, getting back to the automobile. You guys thought I forgot. No, I forgot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the gentleman comes over, and I start telling him, I said, look, this little design along the side here, this little added little pinstripe thing, and I said pimp stripe. I didn't say pinstripe, pimp stripe. Because pimps used to wear them things, and I ain't nobody's pimp. So I told him that's got to go. So that looks tacky. He says, well, yeah, we can have that removed. And I said, all these other logos for your company, that's got to go too. I'm not out there doing no advertisement for your company. I didn't tell him that part, but that's exactly what I would be intending to tell the idiot. It's not my job to advertise for you all. If you do me good, I'm going to send everybody else your way to get a car without paying a dime. Let you guys get paid through the U.S. Treasury. We're going to tell you about that in a minute. So after we talk about that, he says, well, don't you want to hear it start? No, I already know this car. I don't need to take a test drive. I don't need to hear it start. I already know the automobile I'm getting. I've already done my research. When I rent automobiles, this is the only one I will rent. Oh. Well, let me go get the keys and let me start it up so we can see how many miles are on it. You want to know how many miles? I just asked you how many miles are on it. I want to make sure there's not 100 miles on it, because if you guys put 100 miles on this car, that means it's been shopped from one lot to the next lot to the next lot. And I don't play that. If an automobile you're buying that's brand new has more than 15 miles on it, there's something wrong. That means it's been sent from one lot to the next. They're shopping for an owner. It only had 3 miles on it, y'all. 3 miles. Now that lets you know, don't it? From the truck to the parking lot, from the truck to the parking lot, from the parking lot to the truck. Even if they sent it from one lot to the next, it was only driven onto the truck from the train, because I looked at the other paperwork. It was from a train that this automobile came from. So it did not come just strictly by train. It was a Ford too. Got another cold, but I'm getting over it. All right, now, what was the next thing? Well, the young man went and got the keys, tried to start the car, and the battery was dead. Told him, that's not my problem. I understand, car sits out here. I said, but you will be exchanging that battery. I will not be taking that battery. You'll be putting a brand new battery in this automobile. Well, sir, it usually goes dead and somebody left the lights on. I said, I know. That's your word. I can't take your word for that. I said, no, this is $24,000 worth of your word. And no, that's not going to do. Well, okay, we'll put a new one in there. I wanted to tell him, I know you're going to put a new one in there. You know, but I didn't, to get Robin Harris on the phone. All right, what's the next thing we did? He said, okay, well, we can go inside and do the paperwork. I said, well, no, there's one catch. I said, I love my music. I said, I like my music. I said, I got to be able to hear the highs, the lows, the treble, the bass, all at one time, and it can't be distorted. And I said, I need a 1200 watt system in my automobile, plus an in-dash DVD player monitor. Well, these cars, the DVD players come from the factory that way, and so we'd have to send it back to the manufacturer to get that done. Okay. Well, look, sir, to avoid that, look, we have this right over here, and he showed me a Ford Fusion hybrid. Now that hybrid gets 40 miles to the gallon in the city and 36 miles to the gallon on the highway. Oh, you done won me over, fool! And it has a DVD player in the dash like I asked for. And guess what else it has? A navigation system. I don't care about the navigation system. I have a TomTom. I have a cell phone. I don't care about no 5 miles to your destination. Up at the next corner, make a right. 5 miles, 4 miles, up at the next corner, make a right. 4 miles, 5 miles, up at the next corner, make a right. Make a U-turn at your nearest opportunity whenever it's safe to proceed. People, I don't need a navigation system. You see, this is not about what you want. Many of you are going after this thinking about want. I want to really help you all out. This is not about want. You cannot want anything. You have to go for what you need. And right now, I need another automobile. Why? Because this one's had some problems lately. A lot of headaches. Not the automobile, but the getting stuck in the mud, oil leaks, jacks falling on top of me, and all this other stuff. Including the jack I was supposed to leave at the UPS. Now I got to call them to come pick it up. I was supposed to drop it off at UPS, and I didn't. Oh well, life goes on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's the next thing I need to be letting y'all know about? After we looked at the hybrid, I told the gentleman it was exactly what I needed. I said I like the miles, I could care less about the navigation system. He says, well, sir, that's the only way it comes. I said, that's not my concern. I said, now we need to talk about the 1200 watt system. He says, well, we can work on it. I'll have to talk to my manager. You have to talk to your manager? Okay, well, that's fine. So let's do some talking. I said, I got to take some pictures of it so I can send to my accountant, because this is for my estate, and he needs to see the automobile to make sure I'm not trying to get over on him, because the whole premise is I'm buying this through my estate. You know what I'm saying, Vern? And my accountant is the one who is taking care of everything, and he got to make shows. He got to make shows that everything is on the up and up, and nobody trying to get over on nobody. And so I take pictures of it. Those pictures are for my benefit. Why? Because when I hear ignorance, now what am I saying about ignorance? He is starting to question me about the sound system. He tells me that a 300-watt sound system sounds just as good with a 12-speaker system than a 1,200-watt sound system. Now, if y'all understand me, I'm thinking a 1,200-watt sound system with 12 speakers sounds a whole lot better than a 300-watt 12-speaker system, huh? So I told him no. I said, and I got to make sure that if I do put an amplifier, since you're telling me it won't void the warranty, that it don't blow out all the speakers on the car. That would be irritating. Well, blah, 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 blah. And that's all he did was talked. And I was ignoring him the whole time. I even told his supervisor, will you please go back and let him know that the customer is always right. He's not supposed to be arguing with me. That's why this conversation lasted for 45 minutes. You got to be in it for the long haul, people. Got to be in it for the long haul. Can't just be on a little short trip. So it worked out like this, everybody. They told me, well, since you got to leave, because I told them I had to leave, I had to be in the city nearest me at 4 o'clock. It was 2:30. That was almost 70 miles away. He says, oh, I live in that city. I make that trip every day. Really? And I can do that in less than 30 minutes. Really? Interesting. It took me 45 minutes to get here at 80 miles an hour with no traffic. And you're going to tell me that I can, but I didn't tell him this. There was no need to argue with the idiot about this. You see, all he was trying to do was peep game. He wanted to see how much I wanted the automobile. And so I had to let him know who I was. And y'all know me, when it's time for me to let people know who I be. So I demanded his supervisor come back out there and talk to me because I thought he was trying to play me. He was now changing the terms of the deal that we had come to an agreement on. I told him my accountant will need a warranty agreement, a warranty offer. And I need to be able to fax that to him, and everything is going to be done via the bank, wire transfer. So I would need their routing number and the name of their bank. Do you know what he had the nerve to do? Say, okay, we can get that for you. So he went and got his supervisor. Now, I can't stand this song, guys. Hold on a second. I'm just pulling into my driveway, but I cannot stand As Yet, Last Night. I think that's a stupid song. But, you know, As Yet. What type of a name is As Yet? God. Sorry. Irritating. Well, I'm sorry, I got some sun in my eyes, and I'm going to sit in the car and complete this, so I'm going to pull in the other carport where the sun won't be in my eyes. That's right, I got 4 carports. Ask me how I got it. Because the idiots who gave me the carports gave me a hard time, and I got on their case. And they got so confused by the amount of calls I made that they forgot to put the paperwork in its proper place. This is Stevie Nicks, y'all. Yeah, I listen to everybody's, okay? Anyway, they forgot. And so they called me up one day after I had already threatened to sue them, and they promised that they were going to send out another crew. And when did I want to have the carports installed? And I'm going, huh? But I didn't say to them, huh? I didn't say to them, but you already installed the carports. I didn't say that. People say, well, that was dishonest, wasn't it? No, because they were telling me that they were coming to install my carports. Not the carports that I ordered, but they were coming to install my carports. And I thought this was the solution to the agreement that we worked out, because I gave them 10 days to come to a solution. Next thing you know, they come out and they install the carports, and they asked me to sign a receipt. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the receipt already had my signature on it. So I just looked at it and said, it's already signed. The guy said, oh, okay, and they left. 2 weeks later, doggy, were they mad. Getting calls on my phone, people yelling at me. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all better go talk to your lawyer or something. And the lawyer contacted me. So I showed him the receipt. I said, now, if you can show me any other contract where I made any other deal for any other carports, hey, I'll take care of that. Well, of course they couldn't. Uh-oh. I'm sorry. Somebody was texting me that they couldn't find pay to the order of the United States of America without recourse on Google. And, You all see my videos, how many times I found it. So I don't know what to tell the person. You see, I can't solve all of your problems. So if I do something and you tried and it doesn't work for you, you can't call me and ask me why it didn't work. That's not my business to do that for you. I'm not here to tell you why something worked and it didn't. I'm only telling you why things worked for me. So getting back to our automobile, the manager comes out after I went and spoke to an associate and told her I needed to speak with the corporate office, needed to speak with someone in executive services. I said, because the way I'm being treated, I don't allow that. Oh, well, sir, give me one moment. And she went and got somebody. Before she could get that person, the sales manager came to talk to me directly. I told him, I said, I don't know what's going on here. I told these people I had to leave, and they're sitting up here telling me that it'll just be 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. That was 30 minutes ago. And then now they're telling me, oh, well, when you got time, come back. When they told me they were going to go ahead and get me the paperwork I was asking them for. Well, what is it you needed? I need a copy of the bank address and the routing number so that we can go ahead and send it to my accountant. I also need a copy of the offer. And I said, they're trying to hand me some yellow sheet of paper, which is not the original deal. Well, it is a buyer's offer agreement. Well, no, this is not the agreement. Well, sir, it's exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing as a warranty offer. Yes, exactly the same thing. That's all I needed to hear them say. Okay? That's all I needed to hear them say. You see, they tried to turn it around and say I was offering them something. Whew, poor people. I don't play the word game. That's why I got them to say it verbally in front of my 2 witnesses. And they signed it. But they gave me the yellow copy. I said, I can't fax the yellow copy to them. It won't be able to read it on the other side when they get it through the fax machine. He says, oh, I said, could you make a white copy of this? He says, oh, get them the white copy. Can we get them the white copy? And they went and got me the white copy of the offer with the original signature on it. So I had the yellow copy and the white copy. Pay attention to me, people. Pay attention. They got 40, 60, 90 acres of land that they roam freely. And I let them. One day I'll stop them. This is Boys to Men in the background, by the way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what did I do with the offer? Well, I had to work on that other paperwork, so I didn't get around to it until last night, yesterday. And I finished it all up yesterday. What was the first thing I did? I made 3 copies of the white page. Well, actually 4. I'll tell you why 4 in a minute. Made 3 copies of the white page. I made 3 copies of the yellow page. I went and got myself 500 sheets of legal size blue paper, 500 sheets of legal size white paper, and 500 sheets of size yellow paper. Why? Because you need to understand writs and how writs are given and how paperwork is given and what makes something authentic and not authentic and who gets what copy. You see, I'm not a yellow copy person. I'm a white copy person. I want the white copy. I don't want the yellow copy. The yellow copy bothers me. So I demanded the white copy, that they give me a white copy. What does the white copy show proof of? It's a quiz, y'all. Let y'all do your research. By getting the white, yellow, and blue, y'all not going nowhere. Get back over here. Sorry. They see me here. They're getting ready to walk off. And they're like going over to the next house, which is a half mile to 3/4 of a mile away, to talk to those dogs. What did I say? Get over here. Come on. Come on. Now they're running. Okay, getting back to you all. I took the yellow copy. Come here. Come here. The yellow copy, took the white copy, took the blue copy. On the one to the treasury, because we have 3 different organizations that it was going to. Come here. The first organization, we're going to turn off Boys to Men because the dogs are distracting me and Boys to Men are distracting me. Come here, doggies. I took the white copy, addressed it to the U.S. Treasury. Okay? And with the address to the U.S. Treasury was paid to the order of the U.S. Treasury without recourse. Good doggy. And then with the yellow copy, I kept that the yellow copy, the U.S. Treasury got an exact copy of that because it was a carbon copy. I made sure that everything transposed onto it and it was identical. We had an authorized signature, and then we had a service managing authorized signature. Got two signatures. I don't know why they signed it that way. You can't read who signed it, but at least I got witnesses to attest that they gave me a signed document. Well, anyway, let's get past that. I take the white, the blue, and the yellow. Pay to the order of the United States Treasury without recourse, same as you do your mortgage. I take the whole set because I counted as the original mortgage. Remember, it's property. Mortgages are for property. I take the whole set. I address it to the U.S. Treasury without recourse, paying to the order of the United States of America without recourse. So I address it to the United States of America. Pay to the order of the United States of America without recourse. I put my seal. My seal is my signature. That's what I've created, my seal. I've created it as my seal. It's mine. I don't have to go get it made and waxed and all that other stupid stuff. I created it, copied it, and pasted it to documents now. I have my seal on my computer. I can now use my seal. Don't have to sign court documents anymore. I just use my seal. Sorry. All right. Then what did I do? I took another set of the series of documents. These are actually copies now, not the original. The original always goes to the U.S. Treasury. Remember that. The original always goes to the U.S. Treasury. Let me say it again because some of you are going to forget. The original always goes to the U.S. Treasury. Then I took another set of copies. I addressed it, paid to the order of Richmond Fordioxis, and in care of Wells Fargo Bank without recourse. I gave the Treasury what's known as the discharging instrument. I was discharging the debt. And I gave Wells Fargo Bank, who is the bank of the automobile dealership, I gave them the charging instrument. So there was a charge and discharge of the item. Some people are having a hard time understanding this. When you buy a car, you've just created a debt because you had to borrow to buy the car. So you created a debt. That's a negative. You cannot have negatives without positives. When you create a debt, it has to be discharged or it remains as a debt. So what I was doing is I discharged it through the Treasury by paying it to the order of the United States of America because they're responsible for taking care of my needs. Yes, they are. That's right. They loves me. All right. Then the last one, the third one. People say, why do you need a third one? Aren't they just two parties? No. There's that nice little other institution that's supposed to be giving us lawful money, which is not creating a debt, but they're supposed to give us lawful money to use in circulation. They're known as the Federal Reserve Bank. They're under the U.S. Treasury. So I send them the same item. I also send them notice that I'm going to be accessing my account from now on. I just put the Social Security number. There's no reason to put the account number. They know what your account is once you give them the Social Security number. There's no reason to look at the back of your Social Security card. And some of you who don't have a number on the back of your Social Security card, you don't need it. And I send them an item. I also let them know that I'll be utilizing the account from now on and that here is what I'm looking for. This is what I need. These are the items I need. I don't need anything else at this moment, but if there should come a time when I should need something else, I will give you advance notice of what my needs are. And I will send you the proper instructions for you to set off and discharge the account. That's it. And I sent those out via certified mail today. Will it work? Will it work? Anybody, will it work? I don't know. I can't tell you if it will or won't work. I cannot answer that question. What I can answer is I'm not afraid to try it. Now, am I asking all of you to do it? No. Did I ask all of you to do that EFTs? No. I didn't tell you people to do the EFTs. I didn't tell you to do any of this stuff. All I'm doing is letting you know what I'm doing. Now, if people want to follow behind me without doing their research, I cannot help that. That's not my responsibility to worry about people not doing their research. I can't worry about everybody else, boss. Okay? I can only worry about one person right now, and that ain't even me. All right, let's move on, shall we? Yes, we shall. Now, we're going to talk about the VIN number. and the photos. I took photos of the automobile just in case they got the VIN number wrong so that I could put the VIN number and affix it to the documents I'm sending to the Treasury. Did I use an EFT? Did I use an international money order? No, people. I did not. Not one option at a moment of a time did I use any of that. Okay? Just so we get it straight. So I did not use that. What did I use? I just used those instruments and I put the signature at the top and I sent it off to him. Because in theory, that's what should work. When I sent out the mortgage, it wasn't those other instruments that worked. It was the fact that I paid it to the order of the U.S. Treasury. I discharged the debt. I officially discharged that debt because it was only charged. It was never discharged. That's why they could write me back and say that they would not be attempting to collect any additional funds in reference to this account. Look, they said additional funds. Pay attention to their wording. It's written by lawyers. They wrote it that way on purpose. People are saying, look, that letter was dated February 22nd. I sent out the notice on January 15th. They received it on January 19th, 2012. Do you get me? This is February the 14th. Tomorrow is exactly 2 months after I sent it out originally. People are saying, well, we usually get letters back saying they're not accepting this, they're not accepting that. Guess what? They can't send me a letter saying they're not accepting it. It's too late. It's too late. It went through the Treasury. It's too late, boss. So all of you who are thinking that it didn't work, he's gonna get some trouble. They're gonna be at his door real soon. They're gonna call the men in blue, the men in black, the men in red, the men in green, the men in yellow, the Mennonites. They're gonna call everybody on that fool. And you're all wrong. When I did that, when I went to California, I told people California for two things. One was to straighten up my brother's situation with his company that he was just starting, and they had a contractual dispute. That got resolved up until now. When I left, then they started acting stupid again. But I just sent them one of my conditional acceptance letters. Well, go ahead. You want to change terms of the contract? Let's change terms of the contract. Come on there, boss. Let's just change terms of the contract. Come on, let's do that. All right, tell you what you do. $80,000 for the first initiation of that contract. All right, and every single time you try to change it again, it's going to be another $100,000. Y'all got that? Oh, really? Oh, now y'all want to act right. What, y'all don't want to play no more? Oh, come on. See, why don't y'all want to play? Y'all were playing a minute ago. And then when I step on the court, y'all don't want to play no more. What's wrong with y'all? I'm not going to hurt y'all. I'm going to play by y'all rules. Oh, you don't like the fact I brought my own ball? Well, man, look. I'm going to set my ball down. We going to play with your ball. Okay? Come on, let's play. And guess what? Turns out they ain't got the balls to play with me. Stupid, ain't it? All right, getting back. People, many of you understand what's been working and what hasn't been working. I told many of you that we had 23 out of 25 items clear. When that mortgage got paid off, I had been misstating everything. I only counted one of the mortgages. I didn't count both of them. There was a second mortgage on that property. Both mortgages got paid off. So now it is 26 out of 27 because those are two items to count. One item that didn't go through was Bank of America. I had two Bank of America issues. One was a credit card, one was a bank account. And it's the credit card one that they want to hold on to. And I just have been too busy to be worried about that. But I tell you what I'll do. I'll make it a point before this month is up to sit up there and send them a letter to make sure that goes away. I'll send 3 credit bureaus proof that I paid that and dare them to show me proof that it wasn't paid. And that one will be taken care of. Look, people, we put on our website our style money orders, and all you got to do is follow the instructions. Well, what are the instructions? You take care of the money orders. Just go back and watch All Star Money Order videos. There's no reason for me to do another video. We'll do an update soon, but there's no reason for me to do another video right now. You just follow the instructions. That's all it is. You're not committing fraud because you're not trying to defraud anyone. That's why you do it without recourse. Learn what without recourse means. Now, something else so that all of you know, my truck has no VIN numbers. Now I have a Nissan Frontier, and it has no VIN numbers, but it has these white little pieces of paper all over it that says DOT number, and then it shows the DOT number. Now, you and I both know the police going to try to pull this man over because they ain't going to be able to recognize the automobile. They ain't going to be able to identify it. Well, they can't look at the VIN number either because there is no more VIN number. They cannot decipher the VIN number. The only VIN number is on paper. Well, what if somebody steal your car? Then they can't even ride around in it. And it's covered by insurance. Well, what VIN number you give the insurance company? I give them whatever it is they think they need. Okay? It's just that simple. I've already sent the state of New Mexico my bailment bond, my letting them know that this is my automobile and it does not comply with their laws, and it will not comply with their laws. I've already let them know by my grantor's assertion of rights declaration of executorship who I be. That's right, who I be. Not who I is, who I am, or who I am gonna be, but who I be. They know who I be. IMGA. Okay? Well, it's not IMGA. IAG is what it's supposed to be, not IMGA. I messed that up, but it's IAG. What does IAG stand for? I'm a genius! I'm sorry. Well, let me continue by explaining a couple of things so that you'll understand what's going on. A lot of people are asking if I do seminars. The nice little seminar at the Junction was a very wonderful event. I enjoyed it a lot. As a matter of fact, I thought it went over perfect. Not well, but perfect. It ended with very few hands being raised, with very few questions at the end. I think they were on information overload by the time we got finished. Here's the thing. I have no problem coming to a town nearest me. I don't want to go all over the world, people. I have no problem doing that. I've teamed up with a couple of people. Now, I don't advocate everything that everybody else is talking about, but if I only had people around me that only talked about the things I was interested in, would I not be facetious? Would I not be just as like all the other idiots? We need different methods, different ideas, different procedures. Why? Because we haven't figured out the system yet. And so we're going to need a way to understand this stuff. The only thing I bring to the table is a little bit of logic and idiocracy, but I bring something to the table. To date, I've not had one person prove me wrong. They've tried. They tried to get technical with me, but they can't. Because I watch what I say. If I can't back it up with some type of proof, then I don't talk about it. You see, I don't talk about there being creatures on other planets because there is no proof and I have no proof of that. So why would I talk about something like that? I can't talk about what Muhammad Ali had on his mind when he was fighting the Thriller in Manila because I wasn't inside the man's mind. If I had been, we would have found out that we were two of a kind, you know? So, I can only talk about what I know. And as I've always promised everyone, if I don't know, I will tell you, I don't know. I can't answer that. I got people calling me up all the time still, asking me to tell them this and tell them that and to help them make a decision. It is not my job to help anyone make a decision. That's not my responsibility nor my obligation. For the last week, I had to put together 4 motions, very simple motions, but nonetheless 4 petitions, 4 orders to the court. And they were for 4 different venues. Now, 3 of them that were to courts, Supreme Court, Appellate Court, and regular state county court. And 1 of them was to the district attorney for the county. You want to call him the county attorney? Whatever. It went to that idiot. And I'm letting them all know, hey guys, I'm here. I'm now introducing myself into this case as a party of interest. Anybody got anything to say to prove that I don't have that right? Well, bring it on. Because I'm one of the executors over the estate. Duly sworn, duly authorized. Play with me. And that was taking up my time because I had to figure out the proper way to do it. And I know that one of them wants to shoot it down, and that's okay. Paul! I'm sorry. It's okay if they try to shoot it down because I get introduced to the case by way of appeal. And I don't mind saying this out loud. So what? They deny me. They don't have the right. And I appeal it. And I keep appealing it. Now there is 5 courts involved. And then 10 different pleadings to the court involved. This case will never go away. This case is going to turn into a headache for them. Not because I'm going to paperwork them to death. I'm going to procedural beat them to death. I'm going to beat them with their own stupid procedures. Why? Because you have to play their game when dealing with their mess. Do you understand me? Can you hear me now? When dealing with their mess, you have to play their game. And sometimes the game gets rough. And they take you and they put you in cuffs. And then you're sitting up to get back to 1776. I'm not trying to get back to 1926. I'm not trying to get back to 1906. I'm trying to get back to 4026 BCE. That's where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to get back to 4026 BCE. For those of you who think that the earth and man being on the earth is more than 6,058 years, you're wrong. All the other things are guesses. But you deal with Bible chronology. Adam created 4026 BCE. Man has only been on the earth 6,000 years, which makes it 6 days. Just that simple. So I'm trying to get back to 4026 before that idiot messed everything up for everybody. Even if you don't believe in it, you know that somebody had to You know that somebody had to do something stupid, something wrong for this earth to be the way it is. Man is not capable of being this dumb so soon in life. You know that there's somebody behind the scenes helping man treat Miss Way. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, because it's not in people's nature to be stupid. It's not in people's nature to cause harm. It's not in people's nature to take advantage of other people. Why? Because the whole world would be doing it. Everybody would be doing it. And see, I consider myself to be part of everybody. And I don't see myself wanting to go out there and cause harm to people. Now, mind you, there was a time in my life where I didn't care. And that was as a result of depression. And depression is a mother, okay? But I do not choose to be depressed anymore over anything. It doesn't matter what happens. I don't care about tomorrow. I don't care about next week. I only care about today. And it's not live today because tomorrow I'm going to die. I care about today because I can't take care of tomorrow. I can't do anything about tomorrow because tomorrow is not here yet. I can only make this place that I live a better place for me, and hopefully make it a better place for someone else, who will make it a better place for someone else, who will pay it forward. So I guess what I'm making this video for all of you to understand, I am not putting this information out there so you can go get yourself in trouble. I'm putting this information out there so you can take it and add it to your information and do more research on it so you can perfect it. Because that's all I've done. I've taken what everybody else has done and I incorporated into what I already knew. I knew other people were out there buying cars. Oh, by the way, they don't want me telling you about going to the dealership and how to get a car. Why? Because it's going to mess it up for them. I don't give about them. I'm not worried, as I mentioned before, about somebody else going out there and messing it up for someone else. I don't care. I don't care. It's too late for anybody to mess it up for anybody else. People, the system is about to change. The system is about to change. And it's going to change in such a way that these videos are going to have to come to an end. That getting information from me or anyone else like me is going to be very difficult. That people like me are going to have to watch what we say to whom we say it to, because there are going to be a lot of people out there trying to hem us up. It's going to become illegal for us to be disseminating information such as this. Look, people, the U.S. Treasury is already on its way out. They just changed the system. It's the IMF full force now. I was trying to figure out who is now in control, but I've already known it's been the IMF. And that's a shame. Because now we have to figure out how to access the IMF. Some people say, well, it's the master number, and I already figured it out. But I ain't going to tell nobody. And see, those are the idiots. And they deserve everything that's coming to them for being so selfish. Well, I ain't telling nobody because I don't want them to mess it up for everybody else. You've already messed it up for everybody else by keeping it to yourself. All the people who kept information like that to themselves end up dead. And they take that information with them. And nobody progresses. People, I'm not afraid of somebody killing me tomorrow. Why? Because they can't stop what's already been put in motion. Because I tell you the stuff I tell you. Oh, I'm sorry. As of today, this is going to be, you're going to consider this to be the ultimate of all ultimate updates. I promise you. Rob Ryder told us to acknowledge. Let me turn Teddy and Stephanie down just a little bit. They're singing my song. Feel the Fire? Y'all know the song, don't you? I'm just going to let them get that high note. Hold on 1 second. Now, don't y'all feel me? Most ultimate of all updates. I took my declaration and labeled it. And I'm going to be putting up the new one on site real soon, so stay tuned. It'll be up before Wednesday of next week. I have a little bit of time now. It now has an IDRLN number. People, that's just a number. You can take it and make it whatever number you want. That's your identification number to identify you as the declarator, as the director, grantor, beneficiary, so on and so forth, and on and forth and on, okay? But this is what it says. Declaration and peace treaty by a peaceful inhabitant, non-combatant, non-aggressive inheritor of the land. The chief administrator, governor, grantor. Formally announcing the grantor's assertion of rights of chief executorship. The grantor administrator is not now nor has ever been an artificial entity, i.e. collective entity. And overseeing the estate will never constitute such a labeling and or application. This document is to serve as a qualified written request, statement, lawful notice and warning as this is presented and for the public record establishing a court of record. References to secured rights and public law listed below, as well as common law. Declaration to expire December 31st, 2099, unless renewed by the grantor verbally. All right, I now verbally, on this verbal declaration, announce that my declaration of grantorship will never expire. I'm sorry, that's what I did that for. All right, then it says to be known as a grant deed, recording of affidavit, special acknowledgement, deeded land patent, and living will. Special deposit bailment bond, $180 million. It was filed today under deeds. Now let me tell you what's so important about this. Okay, this is the unique part. The original, I listened to Rob Ryder and he says, acknowledge your deed. I went and looked at my deed, wasn't acknowledged, so I had to acknowledge it. So I acknowledged it. Then I had to get the original deed for the property so I could get my land patent, right? Well, guess what? The original deed for my property is known as the Berlin Land Grant. 2 million square acres of land. I'm giving you the name because it's a little too late. They had their 21 days to contest it. I filed it in January 12th, before I went to California. Stressed me out and everything because I thought they were going to stop me. I mean, I was late for my bus and everything. I mean, I was really late. I had to wait there 5 hours for the next bus to come because I was filing the document. Gave them 21 days. People say, did you file it in the newspaper? Don't have to file it in the newspaper. Do you know why? Because the county recorder's office is public record. That's right. So I filed it on the public record. Know what I'm saying? This deed, it says, appearing before me personally, the undersigned notary, on this 14th day of March 2012. This is the updated one, which doesn't get rid of the other one. Brett, son of Isaac, of the family of Jones, of the town of Vegeta, New Mexico, of the land of Pangea, of the household of Jehovah, the sovereign Lord, and befriended of the same, and not a collective entity, but executor of the deceased artificial entity, and any variation thereof is referred to as the administrator grantor throughout, or any variation thereof as always is always to be referred to as the administrator grantor and or he. Known to me by verification, a credible, living, self-aware, sentient man who duly attests and or affirms on his affirmation and acknowledges and disposes, declares. Public notice of deed recording. The United States of America Berlin Land Grant. Accepted and special acceptance and special acknowledgement affidavit by grantee of said deed to serve as bailment and as a special deposit. This deed, the original one, has the Secretary of State's certification on it. Seal. That seal is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. So I want y'all to pay attention why this is the ultimate of I could have ever have done. The back of the document says, paid to the order of the United States of America without recourse. It has now been discharged. Clerical errors may be corrected at any time clerically or verbally. Funding and credit is to be made to the account noted within the body of the public side of this document. Never are the actions of the author to be construed as aggressive, disrespectful, contemptible, and non-aggressive inheritor of territorial land. I am so excited about this. Y'all can hear it in my voice. And it was just sitting over there. I should have been talking to you guys about this at first. People are going to say, well, can I see a copy of what you did? People, no, you can't see a copy of what I did. Because what I did was just something out of the blue. In other words, I just used logic. If you have to accept your deeds, you might as well accept it. I wasn't going to tell you guys about this because I figured somebody would sit up there and do what I did and take over 2 million square acres worth of land and then start evicting people off their own property. These people have worked hard for these properties. They've been paying rent and mortgages. Why would you want to displace anybody like that? That's not what I'm in this for. No, I'm in this to go after the county. The county has claimed that it's owed money. The county has claimed that it has a right to collect rents, i.e. taxes. The state has claimed the same thing, but the state or the county cannot own land. People say, but you don't own your land, the federal government does. The federal government does not own your land. It never did. The land belongs to the people, always had. It is your mentality, it is your thinking that's causing you the problems that you have right now. I don't look at myself as nobody's servant. So if you listen to me when I talk to those judges, and many of you have heard me tell the judge, I will never, and I didn't yell at the idiot, but I told him I will never ask you for permission to do anything that is my right. That will never happen. That's not just something I said to him, that's something I tell to everybody. I don't demand my rights, I stand up for them. I learned that from, and I have a dream that one day, I'm sorry. But I did learn that from Martin Luther King. I don't like the man. Didn't like the man at the time. And I was only, I was only 1 year old when he died. So I didn't even like him then. I have nothing good to say about him, nothing bad to say about him. He didn't change anything. He was a puppet like every other puppet. They think that we all need somebody to represent us. People, I say I'm a Jehovah's Witness, but my representative is his son. That's who I follow. That's what the word Christian means. It means Christ follower. That's who I'm a servant of. I'm not a servant of any man. And I will not allow any man to dictate to me what to do. But I thought the scripture said you should be in subjection to the superior authorities. Yes, it did say that. As long as it does not violate God's law. I don't buck the system. I'm not trying to change their laws. I'm utilizing their laws. Pay attention to their laws. Their laws allow me to do this. That's Skylar Gray. I don't know who Skylar Gray is. Never heard of the person, but that show you the wide range of music I have on this thing. Look, nothing changed for me until I started understanding who I be. That's what I told you. Not who I is, who I was, or who I could be. No, who I am as a person. I am not God. Never will ever think of myself as being God. I will never ever put myself on a pedestal like that. I think it was, what is it, Philippians, the 2nd chapter, that says that someone did not consider it a seizure to compare himself to God. Well, it would be a seizure on my part. I mean, it would be a convulsive seizure on my part to ever think that I am God. Because if I was God, half of the people on this planet, no, I would say only 1% of the people on this planet would survive. So I'm grateful that I'm not God, and I know a lot of you are too, because I don't play certain things, and certain things he has allowed, hoping that people will change. I wouldn't have any hope for you. I wouldn't have any faith in you. But according to that book, he has faith in people. So he's a much greater person than I am. But I will never allow a man to exercise authority over me, ever. And when I was a child, I didn't allow it, and as an adult, I have not allowed it. To allow such would be me ignoring who I am. I am stubborn, have been stubborn all my life. But I understand who I am in relation to that stubbornness. The United States set up a bankrupt system, not to help the so-called citizens of the United States. People, you're asking for discharge, and you're doing so under the corporate fiction, under the collective entity. You're not entitled to discharge under the collective entity. You're only entitled to discharge under your human inhabitant status. And when you realize that, you'll figure out how to get that discharge. Look, I paid off my best friend's mortgage. It wasn't under his account. I didn't put a social security number on there. Are you understanding this? The collective entity is just a piece of paper. It doesn't exist in life. It's artificial. Man cannot create anything. But people, you're not going to understand me on this. So let me see if I can talk logical, and then I'm going to end this, because this is taking a long time. I mean, let me check and see how much time I've taken of you all this evening. Because it is evening. It's 6:56 where I is. I got people texting me and everything. Let me get rid of that text message. Woo, doggy, that's a lot of minutes. Well, I'm going to try to end this quick. This is the way it is. You have to figure out how to access the human side of the system, the private side of the system. Other people claim they know how, but if they knew how, they wouldn't be out there doing videos. They'd be showing other people how. And they haven't shown anybody how, because I haven't seen anybody get themselves out of the system yet. I've heard all, let me say it again, I've heard all of the rumors. Hey. Sorry, I know that song. Anyway, I've heard all of the rumors, all of the stories, all of the fantasies, all of the fairy tales about, oh, this person went ahead and secured himself. Now he's not even a United States citizen. He's his own bank. I've heard all the stories, and I don't care if people get mad at me because I just said that because they think it's about them. It doesn't matter. If you have come so far, and if you have done so much, and if you've corrected so much, then you should be pulling the other man up instead of kicking him down and walking over him. Charging people for information. What is wrong with you people? How can you charge people for words? Words are free. You can't pay for words. Well, I paid for Microsoft Word the other day. They charged me over $100. Well, everybody, if you want to get that technical, I didn't pay for Word. I got it for free. How can you pay for words? And I don't think you guys understand. Nobody owns words. Nobody owns language. Nobody owns vocabulary. So how can somebody charge you for vocabulary? Well, they can charge you for their knowledge. How can they charge you for their knowledge? They got it from someone else. Just sit back and think about it for a minute. Let me pause these guys. How can somebody charge you for their knowledge when they receive their knowledge from someone else? You know, I was watching this episode of, I'm watching Andromeda now, into the second season now, and I'll download the third and fourth and fifth season probably tomorrow's Thursday. I won't have time to download it tomorrow, but maybe tomorrow, don't know. The Andromeda, I watched one episode, and it was about this group of people who lived on this planet. They were generations from Earth, and what happened is that they had the ability of passing on their knowledge genetically, and everyone knew what everyone knew before them. I didn't just make this up when I kept talking about it in my videos, that my knowledge comes from the knowledge of those before me. I know that for a fact. I just, like one person said, I had the ability of tapping into it. Now, some of you are on Skype and everything and haven't seen me on there, and I haven't been on there long because I don't have the internet at my house, so you haven't been seeing me, and you probably won't be for a while. I'm not getting the internet anytime soon. I'm going to have them bring electricity to my house. They're going to probably try to charge me $100,000. No, they're probably going to try to charge me about $56,000. I'm going to charge, and I'm an inhabitant of the land. Nobody else here has claimed that. Guess what? I am first in line, first in time. They can't argue this. Who wants to come and battle me in court? Bring the banks. Show your standing. I have standing. I have the deed. My deed is 21 pages long. So I have the deed. And guess what? My name is on the deed. Appearing personal before me. The undersigned noted in this one says 3rd day of January 2012. Brett, the son of Isaac, so on and so forth. The affiliate is not a collective entity, but executor of the deceased artificial entity. Then it says self-aware sentient man who duly attests and affirms by his affirmation and acknowledgement, deposes and declares the grantee, my name again, is not a collective entity. And it says, people say, why you have the redundancies? The reason why I have the redundancies is because it's another paragraph. And just because they might say, well, you didn't say it in the previous paragraph. So that's why we use words like throughout this entire document. But because the pages are separated, we have to make sure. It says, by a living self-aware sentient man in the capacity of administrator, executor, acknowledges and accepts the land grant original deed duly recorded by the recorder of General Land Office on the 22nd day of December, 1858, for the following described real estate situated in Valencia County and Socorro counties of New Mexico. And then it says description number 2. The land claim of the town of Belen of the territory of New Mexico as reflected in original deed, commonly known as the Belen land grant, by his, and it mentions my name again, and it says, free will act and deed does execute this acknowledged acceptance of the United States of America Belen land grant deed as an inheritor and lawful owner of the property under the terms of the deed, demanded that the record on file in the office of the Register of Deeds, county assessors, be updated to show his acceptance and acknowledgement of the land patent, and deed as lawful owner in fee simple of private real estate. All of these words I got from other documents, even fee simple. Copied, spliced, paste, made it my own. That's all I did. But I'm an inheritor of land, which is required if you need and want to own land in the United States of America. I am not a United States citizen, not an American citizen. I am not a Hawaiian citizen. As I told all of you, we are on the verge of creating the sentient, self-aware human population of the world. The title has already been copywritten. And the mulatto Negro population of the world. Now it's world, land, and earth. It also mentions that they're peaceful inhabitants. Okay? We're creating another class that has never been represented before. Just that simple. We're going before the UN. to get recognized by the UN. We've already been recognized by the Secretary of State here in America, well, Secretary of State here in New Mexico, and the United States. So that's 2 nations that have recognized us. Are you catching my drift? We have an EIN number for one, a 98 series EIN number recognizing us as foreign to the United States. That's what I'm telling you. I'm just letting you know everything, ain't I, tonight? And what we're doing is we're coming in as a foreign corporation within the state of New Mexico. Then we go before the UN as a separate class. Got enough land for it. Got enough land for it. Like I said, most of this land is owned by families that go back generations. The only problem is these are the very same people who are as corrupt as they could possibly be for the state of New Mexico. They're the reason why certain areas of this place have not been developed. They keep all of the money. There is so much corruption here. You see, when I was growing up and I was listening about that idiot, what's his name? The former governor, Richardson? I thought, I'm rolling the windows up, so sorry about the noise in the background. I thought Richardson was a good person. I really did. I liked him. You know, he was the governor of New Mexico. He seemed like a nice guy. But then I realized he was just like all the other idiots. All the other politicians. They're all idiots, people. Not one of them is good. Now, some of them might have a good heart. But I'm sorry, the majority of them are worthless. Pieces of shiznike. So, I did this today because a lot of people have been trying to understand what I did in the first place with the mortgage, about the car, and about the land. People, when I do stuff, this is my stuff. I'm going to tell you about it. But there are other people out there who tell me their stuff and what they do, and they tell me not to tell anyone. So I can't tell you about their stuff. Even if I were to implement it and make it mine, I can't tell you about their stuff. That's not how I work. It's not mine to tell. But I will tell you what I think, what I do, what I come up with. Why? Because why would I hold it from you? Why would I keep it from you? Well, you're just letting them know what you're doing. Why? What can they can't stop me. Now, I don't mean it the way you think I mean it. What I mean by they can't stop me, because I'm 8 steps ahead of them. That's why when I filed this in January, I had to wait so that I could get these documents in today. Everything is done. Everything is done. And I was worried about it. I was worried about it, and it only cost me $10 to file it. I didn't know how much this junk was going to cost. I just know I had to be prepared. So I came prepared. When I went and did that card thing, I didn't know how that was going to, well, no, I actually did know how it was going to turn out. I knew I was going to get what I wanted. I had already had that plan. I didn't know how I was going to do the documents, so it took me 4 days to do the documents. It was simple. I had to figure out charge and discharge. It just took me a moment to think about the charge and discharge, and it came to me. So there was a charge, I had to discharge it. But because it was an offer, it was never charged. So I had to charge it. So I sent it to the bank saying, here, I endorsed it for them. You know how the banks normally endorse your notes? Well, it was never required upon them to endorse your promissory notes. It was never a requirement for them to endorse your promissory notes. It was your responsibility. But you never knew the law because they did not tell it to you. They hid it from you. They put it within so many other different law books where you had to go and search. It was like a game of hide and seek, find the magic egg, and all these they come up with. That's how you get them in court. As I told you, I'm looking for a group of people. And if you stayed and listened this long, that means that you're the people that I need to be having watch my videos, listen to me. Why? Not because I have anything important to say or what I say is so marvelous. No, because I'm just another man. I'm just talking. There are people who are afraid to offend me. And I don't mind you being afraid to offend me. That's a good thing. But don't. I'm just another man. I am nobody. You know, there was a time in the past where 2 men were walking through a city and people were bowing down to them and praising them. And they had to tell them, we are just men, just the same as you. Another situation where this guy came to help out this person. This man bowed down and he says, get up, because I'm just a fellow slave, the same as you. Worship God. People, I'm just a man. There's nothing special about me. Not to you. To me, I am special. But that's to me. Let me be special to me. But I am not special to any one of you. I'm just another man. If you have a brother, then I'm the same as that person. If you have a father, I'm the same as that person. You treat me with the same respect you would treat yourself. And we are cool. I don't have a problem with that. But I really get irritated when people talk about how much knowledge I have and that let me call myself a genius. Don't take away my clout and my sitting up here pushing myself up above a pedestal. You know what the Bible says, he who does not humble himself will be humiliated. So if I'm going to be humiliated, let me go through the humiliation alone. Don't try to humiliate me and help me get humiliated. What's wrong with y'all? Just kidding. The two people who the people were bowing before was Paul and Silas and Barnabas and Peter. They all had that experience where people were coming and bowing to them thinking that they were someone great. People, they weren't no one great. They were just men. That's why they kept telling everybody, we're just men. I'm just a man. I am just a man. And I'm a man with frailties. I'm a man who has this disease that is not causing havoc as much anymore. I got to admit, ever since I started taking Cortex, which is another, cortisol, the doctor was right. Things would improve. I know all the rest of you all had remedies and other things, but you must understand the problem with me was my cortisol levels were extremely low. Extremely low. I mean, so low that they were borderline tragically low. And not to mention vitamin C. Whoo, doggy. That was low too. And he kept telling me, he said, you need to build your immune system up because your vitamin C is so weak. You need to build that. Go get you some 1,000 milligram tablets so you can get the powder. And I forgot because sometimes I forget things. Sorry. Apologize. That was 2 months ago. Well, the other day when I first caught this cold, the young lady Frances, who was more than 20 years my elder, said, you need to go get you some vitamin C. I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. You see, most of the people who are trying to give me remedies and trying to give me suggestions are younger than me. Shut up! You don't have enough experience to be telling me what's good for me. Stop it! It's not that I don't want to listen to somebody younger than me, but when we want to talk about health issues, you ain't lived long enough to be able to give me advice. But this woman told me, the doctor, he's roughly about my age, but he told me, and I figured that's two people telling me, let me go try this out. And so I did. And lo and behold, I was feeling a lot better yesterday afternoon. 2 days ago, I was feeling horrible. Tonight, I'm going to take me 4,000 more of those pills. 4,000 pills? They're 1,000 milligrams. And I'll let you all know in the future whether or not it worked. So here we go, everybody. I want to thank you. Now, what I was trying to tell you, I'm glad for all of you who stayed and listened to this particular video. It's nothing special about this video. This is just me explaining how I've done things. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to put together a law. You see, they've changed so much of the system that you don't know what's right and what's wrong, what's up and what's down. Because remember, when they say the singular, they mean the plural. When they say the plural, they mean the singular. When they say he, they mean masculine and feminine. When they say she, they mean masculine and feminine. This is how they wrote their laws. So who can understand it? Who can understand it? They can, not you. So they didn't write the laws with the people in mind. When they brought all these people and put them in jail, they didn't tell them they were standing as surety. They didn't tell them they were a collective entity. But you must be made known of all the charges against you. Even the collective entity must be known of all the charges against it. That's the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution. And the collective entity has constitutional rights, as per the Supreme Court of the United States. Do you see how all this works out? That's the type of lawsuit I want to bring. Those of you who are trying to bring writ of ericorum novices, well, those are the subjects you need to be bringing up. That they didn't tell the person about this, that, or the other. They didn't explain the jurisdiction. They didn't tell them that they had the right to be a human, and they didn't give them the option of having a trial as a human. They must. People say, where does it say that at? Well, it says that in the human rights. You see, if you're human, they can't take your humanity away from you. They tried, and they try, and they try, and you can't let them take it away. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to tell you how much I appreciate all of you for being here with me. This is Usher. Now, I know y'all think that he's almost had it all. He's almost a has-been. And pretty much he is, because I remember when he first got started, I couldn't stand him. Didn't think he could sing a lick. But he's gotten pretty good. You know, he's gotten pretty good. He got a little big-headed there for a minute, but he all right. So we're going to let Usher take us out of this with Do It To Me. So I want to thank all of you for taking the time to listen to me this evening. Thank you very much. And that's going off because I just started the automobile again. I got to go park it in the right carport because I don't feel like walking that distance in the morning. I do ask that all of you please have a very safe day and a safe life, a safe afternoon, a safe evening, a safe morning. Please keep in mind that the system, as in the Matrix, and I'm going to spend about 5 more minutes on this, so please stay with me. We have come to understand, and this is the unique thing about it. I'm going to let Tupac play in the background. Brenda's got a baby. She's barely got a brain. Oh, God, that's a shame. Anyway, if any of you remember the Matrix, Neo, and I bring this up all the time, Neo was walking with Morpheus and Trinity. And the rest of the crew, Cypher, all of them, they were going up the stairs. And all of a sudden, Neo sees a cat. And Neo says, deja vu. And they stop and they said, wait, what did you see? I just saw a cat. It looks like the same cat twice. And they say, well, was it exactly the same cat or did it look like the same cat? Oh, well, I'm not sure. They said, all right. And everybody starts panicking. And they say, well, that usually happens when they've changed something in the system. Ladies and gentlemen, they changed the system. They did change something in the system. That's why certain things are not working for everybody else. We're looking for windows where windows don't exist. What I'm trying to tell you all is you need to get ready. They changed something in the system, and now they're coming. Pay attention to the movie because the movie told you a lot. He went to, I'm going to tell you what made me realize why my technique with the bank was going to work when I sent the mortgage to the bank in the United States Treasury. Why my technique with the car work. Because I remembered the conversation he had with the architect. And they talked about an anomaly. A systemic anomaly that just kept popping up every single time. They said this is the 6th time we have tried this. People, they've been trying to perfect this system for quite some time. This is not the first time we've been through this as a society. They've done this every time. Every nation they build up, they support themselves off of it. Look at the Romans, the Grecians. They've always supported themselves off of them. Well, guess what? They did it this time too. It's a systemic anomaly. What's the systemic anomaly? That 14% of the population that refuses to bow or to give in. What am I trying to say? What's the 14% of the population? That's us. All of us who are now figuring out the system. All of us who are, well, especially the ones who are claiming to be awake and they're not really awake. Ladies and gentlemen, the anomaly. You notice how the architect told Neil, if you don't remember this, go back and watch the 3rd Matrix. Okay, go back and watch the 3rd Matrix. And you will see in the conversation, that's all you're interested in, is the conversation between him and the architect. Even the Medivician tells him, your predecessors were a lot more better than you. See, you're better than your predecessors. An upgrade. You see how Neil said, an upgrade. People, understand what they were trying to tell you. They've been doing this for centuries. They've been trying to perfect this, but every single time there's a group, small group, but nonetheless a group who always interferes with their plans. Just like in that Matrix, this is what the movie was all about. There is going to be a battle. The battle of all battles. Everybody knows about that. The Bible calls it Armageddon. We call it the time of the end. But nonetheless, there's going to be a battle. That's what the movie's about. I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to convince you of this. And I don't talk, I don't talk about the Bible with you people. And I'm not meaning you people in a bad way. I don't talk about it because I don't want to have arguments with you, because many of you think you know what you know. You think you've done the research. I have people telling me, oh, KMA. That was another name I made up. An acronym, KMA, Kiss My Anus. That, I was going to make up some cards with a big, huge pair of lips, and on the other side, a donkey. No, I'm kidding. An anus. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, a little bit more for you to know about that conversation with the architect, what they were trying to tell you. He said that the equation, he spoke about the equation. So now we're talking about what? Accounting. He said the equation must balance. What did he tell Neil to do? To play dead. Just let the system reboot itself. The United States is getting ready to reboot itself, people. The world is getting ready to reboot itself. And when they reboot itself, what are they going to do? The same thing they've done every single time. They're going after religion. That's the first thing they're going to go after. You don't believe me? Just sit back and pay attention. But when they do, it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late. The religions that interfere with the business. Because they use religion to keep control of the people. Now they're going after them because they're interfering with their business. And they're having help to do this. You don't believe me? Go back and look at every society that's ever crashed. We talk about the Roman society. They crashed because of morals. No, they didn't crash because of morals. They crashed because of their religious order. The way the religion, they went after the religion. You don't believe me? Go back and what were the Crusades and all this other stuff about? It was religion interfering. The Pope interfering. The so-called emperor interfering. The Caesar interfering. Why? Because religion and politics mixed. And they couldn't live with each other. They were having a difficult time. Ladies, gentlemen, the movie was telling you a whole lot more than you could ever imagine. Like I said, I just went off of the statement the equation must balance. At the end of every day, every bank must balance its accounts. Every bank's account must balance at the end of every day. That's why they have to borrow money. It must zero out. Every single bank who's involved in the world banking systems, accounts have to balance at zero every single night. You don't believe me? Go and do the research on it. Remember, the equation must balance. When they say equation, they're not talking mathematics, they're talking accounting. Well, accounting is mathematics. Shut up! Okay? The equation must balance. So I sat back and thought about it. Wait a minute. A debt was created. How do you get rid of that debt? There was a charge. There has to be a discharge. The energy has to be. Somebody charged the account. Now they have to release the energy because the energy is building up. Debt is building up. You can't have debt building up. It will cripple the economy, cripple the system. So what needed to happen? Somebody had to come in, had the authority to discharge the account. The banks cannot discharge the account. Remember, they've been paid. They've been credited. They received the charge. You are the only one with the power to discharge it. But how do you discharge it? First, you notify the bank what paid to the order of the United States Treasury if you have a mortgage, and you tell them, hey, this needs to be charged off. I'm about to let the Treasury know. You have a responsibility to let the Treasury know. You don't have to actually tell them that. They already know that. Then you contact the Treasury, and you let the Treasury know that you've already let the bank know that you have the authority and you're now discharging this account. And they communicate with each other because remember, their accounts are connected to each other. The banks are agents of the Federal Reserve System, so technically when you let them know, you let the U.S. Treasury know, but you don't realize that, do you? The equation has to balance, the equation has to balance, the equation has to balance, it has to zero out. So you want them to communicate with each other. That's what I did. I made them talk to each other. And they said, no, don't take this offensively, any of you. They said amongst themselves, that nigga done figured it out. Hey, Gus, get over here. That fool done figured this stuff out. That's what they're saying to themselves. And it's causing them some problems. Because now he's telling everybody what he did. Wait. As I turn my radio off, let me make sure you all get what everybody else has figured out this that I figured out on with help. I figured it out with help. The Matrix and everything else that I've heard and listened to and learned. and in reality and consciousness and all this other stuff that people want to say, okay, I had help. But notice, every other person who's figured out something like this, what have they done? Have they not kept it to themselves? Have they not tried to profit off of it? Go back and look at my videos. Go back and look at the Ultimate Mortgage Update, where I tell you to take the banks to court to foreclose on them. People, I don't know how to foreclose on anybody. Ladies and gentlemen, every single court, small claims court, has a unlawful detainer packet that shows you step by step what you need to do. It gives you the forms, gives you samples, everything. You don't need to be a genius because, again, they know that most people who own apartment buildings that are triplexes and duplexes and what is that? The 4-apartment building? The fourplex? That's what it is, ain't it? They know that most of them are regular people, that they don't own a lot of property. It's just one person who don't have any knowledge, can't afford any attorney. So they make those pamphlets just for that novice person who doesn't know anything. People, it's a wonderful packet. Pick it up, use it. You get me? Evict them from your property. Go back, listen to the videos. It is a process that will work, but none of you are trying it, and you're disappointing me. I spent all that time talking on those videos, the Ultimate Mortgage Update 1 through 6, and it was actually 1 through 10, but 1 through 6 nonetheless. And none of you called me back to say, you know what, I did an unlawful detainer. You did those videos way back at the beginning of January, and I started doing those unlawful detainers, and you know what I did? I won. Here's the proof, and here's blah, blah, blah. None of you. Because every one of you are scared to try it. You're sitting up there trying to figure out how to save your home, but you're afraid to try something that's not going to cost you anything. You fill out a fee waiver to do an unlawful detainer. A fee waiver. Why? Because there is no money. There's no dimes in the currency. There is no spoon. You figure out how to get that fee waiver put through. But evict them from your property and do a writ of possession. Same packet, and if they don't have a packet, go to clerk of the court and say, I need an unlawful detainer packet and a writ of possession packet. Where can I get that? And you go and you get it that way. Now, guys, we had a 78-degree day. It's not supposed to be 78 degrees now. We're not supposed to be 78 degrees until we get to somewhere in end of May. But we're 78 degrees today, so we got mosquitoes now. Doggy, I'm telling you, this weather is something else. The other day we had snow. Just last week we had snow. Had big, huge storms coming through here. And then today we have 78 degrees. But 2 days ago we couldn't get above 42. I don't know what to tell y'all. All right, I got somebody calling in. This is my girl, so y'all hold on. Hold on 1 second. And that being the case, I forgot where I left off. I know what I was talking about. We were talking about the matrix, the very end, where the equation must balance. People, the books must balance. Your account must balance. Your account is not balanced. So now we need to figure out how to balance the account. I told you it was all about funding. Well, right now it's not about funding. I could care less about funding. I want credit. Forget funding. Give me the credit. I'll take the credit. I don't usually ask for credit, but I want credit. Why? Because that's how the system operates, off of credit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, although you may not know it, yeah, you kind of felt it on 2 hours worth of talking, but information that I thought would be helpful to some of you. I want to thank you once again for listening to the Legal Redress Commission at redressright.org, redressright.com. and at YouTube/user/redressright, as well as Skype at redress.right and the thctrust.org. Have a very good day.
I will beat your behind, child. I swear. And you two, y'all, you two, you better shut up too or you'll get the same thing.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.